What's up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist here with
Gersh1,
and we're back at it to answer your questions in another episode of For the Greater WAAAGH.
This is a video series where we answer the questions left by you, the viewer. If you have a question for us, simply comment down below. Put question in front of your question because we get to those questions first. And that is what the Fool 06 did. He asks, if you would create a third orc god, what name would you give it? And what would it be the god of? It's a good question. Yeah. So we're just going to brainstorm some ideas, and I really think that the easiest one would be the Speed Freak god. So it would be the god of speed, and his name would be Fast. Or Fasta.
Yeah, there you go.
F-A-S-T-A.
And it would be like the reddest hue you can ever imagine.
Yep, he would be like corn, but 10 times brighter. And yeah, he would just be he would be the main person that speed freaks would devote themselves to, kind of like they have that giant red sun, or he would be a sun.
There you go. Yeah,
he would
that
be
makes
a sun.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my.
Yeah.
What about you?
Mine would be like the scrap god or the machine god, because you know orcs, they'll get any piece of scrap and make a machine out of it. Whether it's weapons, gorkamorkas, gorkanauts, stampas, yeah,
all that good stuff. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it would be really badass because like every time a mech would create a giant creature like that, he would be getting closer, or a step closer to that mech god. That would be cool.
Yeah, and all the mech boys would praise it. And what's the main, like the HQ that's a mech? Big Mech?
Yeah, the Big Mech. Yeah, yep. Yeah. A Big Mech would be his main devotion. They would be like the Adeptus Mechanicus and the Omnissiah.
Just with more orky stuff.
Yeah.
More checkerboards, that kind of thing.
If you guys can come up with any awesome orc gods, comment down below. We'll talk about it next week.
And speaking of orcs, Shower Babies asks, how easy is it to hurt an orc's feelings?
Very difficult, because orcs have one thing on their mind: violence.
Yeah.
So for them to have any other thought, it's just very difficult. To the extent where, I think in one of the books it said, orcs don't bother to even think about where they came from. This was referring to the Brain Boys, because they're too busy trying to kill you. Yeah. And yeah, that's kind of the thing is with orcs. Next question comes from the Fool 06 again. You got them good questions. If I got STD, who should I blame, Nurgle or Slaanesh?
Blame yourself.
Yeah.
You should only be praising the Emperor, not engaging in these activities.
Remember, abstinence is key to a good life.
Yeah. Slaanesh.
Next question.
This one's by George Campos. If you two were rogue traders and could have 5 crew members of any species in 40K with reasonable lore standards, what would you have to be on your crew?
You name yours. How many did you say?
5.
5. Ooh, shit, that's a lot.
Yeah, so first of all, I want to have a Tau aircast. Is it aircast? No, watercast. Because they're good with diplomacy and stuff, and they know a bunch of languages, so it'd be easier to interact with other alien species. Number 2, I would want a Hrud. Hrud are those like weird
stone men.
Kinda. Yeah. Just so I could have something to be like, oh, look what I got. Number 3, I want to have for sure, like without a doubt, some Kroot on there. He would probably be like the wise guy I could go to. He'd be like an ancient Kroot.
Like an old shaper.
There you go, yeah. Number 4, maybe like a orc mech to kind of help with like building and fixing up the place. And lastly, I want to have a human astropath so I could know where I'm going.
Yeah, that's a good list. I would choose number 1, some type of psyker. An astropath would be nice, but anything that can both guide me through the warp and also, shoot lightning out of his hands.
An Eldar, maybe?
Like an Eldar, that would be cool, a Farseer. And then the second one would be a Jakiro weaponsmith.
Ooh, Harambe's.
Digital weapons, and then it boosts up everybody around me, because that's what he does in the game. The third would be a Bad Moon, which is an orc that sells himself as a mercenary, because he would just be fun. He'll be like the wild card. He'll be the one who turned off the engines while we were going through a high-speed chase in the warp or something. It'll be fun. The fourth one would probably be oh, that's a tough one. Because I want something big and bulky, but the Ork kind of already has that. You know what? I'm going to throw in, what are those guys? The Imperial Guard?
The
Ogrins. Ogrins, just because it'll be fun. And then, of course, a Space Dwarf. So, what is it called? Squat. Just because squats are cool, and GW did away with them, and that pisses me off. Next question. Good question, though.
Yeah. This one is by Aaron Brownlee. He asks, how are normal Space Marines turned to chaos? I mean, I understand that some are possessed, but do the majority of everyday Space Marines just think, oh, chaos offers me something that the Imperium does, and do they just decide to switch just like that?
So, no, we've answered this before. It's very complicated. It could be corruption through, like, Nurgle with, like, them getting a disease that they didn't know about. It could be a corruption through, just, like, power.
Yeah, I mean, usually it's like, well, the ones you hear the most about is like they're fighting, they're dying, and maybe they want to get back at their enemies, so they like give in to the Chaos Gods, but this is just a downward spiral from there.
Yeah, it's whenever they turn away from the light of the Emperor, or they see that the Emperor is failing them, and then that's when they turn.
Mm-hmm.
And influence from other chapter masters and stuff like that, because a chapter master can still be corrupted.
Yeah.
Next question comes from Boone Siu Lim. What's your opinion on the old fleet from the Great Crusade arriving to a remote world that the Emperor send them, and their reactions as to what has happened to the Imperium? Oh, so I think what you're meaning to say is like, what would happen if an old fleet from the Great Crusade went into the warp, didn't exit until the future? You're getting into time travel, which I like because of the video of yesterday. Saturday. 2 days ago. But anyways, and then they exit and they find the Imperium in the 41st millennium, and they see everything is like to shame. I think they could not. The leaders of that world could not see the Imperium as it is today and think like, yeah, this is what the Emperor had in mind, and this is what I signed up for. I think they would see the hypocrisy in all of the High Lords of Terra and all that stuff, and they would form their own little like rebellion, I guess.
Right. Because like the Imperial cult kind of differs greatly from what it was in 30K.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So yeah, good question though. Next question.
This one's by Vadim Moschenko. Can someone communicate with the Emperor in his current state? Or are the Chaos Gods operating only in the Milky Way galaxy? So that's two questions. So first one, can people just talk to the Emperor? Yeah. Their prayers and all that gets to him. Also, if you're one of those few lucky ones to be able to get into the Emperor's throne room, yeah, you can talk with him. He talked to, I forgot the Sister of Battle, but like when the whole Vandire?
Yeah, the whole Reign of Blood happened.
Yeah, he spoke to them. He speaks to the Adeptus Custodes, and he speaks to Gilliman, so yeah.
Yep.
And then you also asked, are there Chaos Gods only in the Milky Way galaxy?
Yes. As of right now, the warp only works within the Milky Way galaxy. Why that is, I'm not sure. I think it's just to make it easier for GW to write the lore. Because whenever somebody enters the warp, they exit in the same galaxy. Mm-hmm. They never go on to another galaxy. Next question comes from Wyatt Mason. Besides our most glorious master of mankind, who is the most gangster individual in the lore of 40K? I say Magnus for obvious reasons, because he's red and black.
Well, he's all the colors, because he's each. It's constantly changing.
Oh yeah, that is true. So the most gangsta guy.
Sly Marbo.
So yeah, Sly Marbo would be an easy answer. Yep. There's an Ork warlord. I don't know his name, but what he did is, or he was in a warlord. He was a captain. He was an Ork captain, and he made a deal with the Imperium to fight on their side against either the Necrons or the Tau. And then they defeated the Necrons and the Tau, and for payment, the Imperium gave him all these weapons, and then he used those weapons, killed the Imperium, took all the weapons, and then left. That's gangster as fuck.
Yeah. That's legit, even for an orc.
Next question. I have one from DOW234. Do you guys get my fan lore? Did you guys get my fan lore? What is it?
Yeah, let it go a little bit more in depth, because we've been getting a lot of it on Facebook, so it's kind of hard to keep track of who's sending me what, which ones have I done,
We'll work on that though.
Yeah. Just message us again on Facebook.
Mm-hmm. Next question.
This one is by Sonic Nitro. Could Tyranids eat and consume demons from the warp?
We've talked about this before. They can't consume
Warp essence?
Right. So like they can't like what is it with the berserker? No, not the berserker. Well, they like one of the screamers, right? They're called. Tzeentch has the screamers.
Yeah, screamers.
So they can't consume the screamers because once you kill one of those entities, they just like go back into the warp and they dematerialize. Mm-hmm. But if you're a Chaos Space Marine, you're still a superhuman,
right? And
you can still be consumed by Chaos or by the Tyranids.
You got that biomass.
Same thing goes with demon hosts. Mm-hmm. Any host, any body can still be consumed. The demon goes away though.
Right.
Next question.
Oh, he's got a part 2.
Oh.
He also asks, how will the new Primaries Marines be incorporated into existing chapters that have accepted them? Will they have their own company, or will they be put into specific roles?
So basically, it's gonna be they're gonna be their own units.
Yeah, I mean, they're gonna be their own thing because it's kind of hard to incorporate like. Well, I guess you could have Reavers join like the Scout Legion and stuff.
Yeah, well, because the way that it works is like you'll have like the second company, and the second company would be their, I think it's like 4-man or what is it, assault unit, mm-hmm. The tactical assault unit or whatever, and then they'll have like their dreadnought, they'll have their whatever, and then they'll have a division of the Reavers or any other.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how they do it.
Hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah. But they're not their own company, and yes, they do have their own chapters. This is the last question coming from Jake DeMonaco. Is it possible to make good models with only an airbrush? And if yes, can recommendations if you have one? So I've actually never been able to get my airbrush to work. Is it possible to just do something with an airbrush? If you have... It depends on your army. If you have like Tyranids, hell yeah. Mm-hmm. If you have Space Marines and Imperial Guard, probably not. No. Yeah.
I feel like bigger models would probably be easier with the airbrush. Mm-hmm. Because if you got obviously little guys, you gotta do like the little details and whatnot. So probably like if you have like an Imperial Titan, you know, that kind of thing, a lot of vehicles, then yeah, it'd be easier. But I don't know. I've never worked with an airbrush, so I can't really speak on the matter.
Yeah, if you had like Space Marines and you want to start using an airbrush just to paint that, what you can do, if you're not going to buy paintbrushes, you're just going to use your airbrush, buy the blue tape, the painter's tape, and tape over the locations that you don't want them taped or you don't want painted. It's just going to be really time consuming, and at that point, just buy a paintbrush, paint regularly. But yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for all these questions. It was an awesome time answering them, and hopefully you guys will continue to send us more.
This was Gersh1,
the Sound Alchemist, and we're out of here.